Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry I've been moving my setup around a lot recently. I've just been trying to figure out how to get the best lighting, layout, functional in my tiny filming room. So I think this is how it's gonna stay for a while, hopefully. And then hopefully soon, after I'm done organizing my room, I can do a makeup room tour for you guys so you guys can kind of see everything finished, hopefully. So yeah, so I'm sorry about the switch up all the time, but today I wanted to go ahead and talk to you guys about my favorite and my not favorite Anastasia brushes. My Anastasia palettes. I have the full collection of Anastasia palettes, and like since I started collecting them. So I started collecting them since I'm trying to think, since the modern Renaissance. So I don't have anything before that. I know that they did palettes before that, but that was before I got into makeup. So I don't have any of those, but I do have everything, I think, after that point. So that being said, I'm going to go through my collection through my least favorite to my favorite. So my absolute favorite Anastasia palette. So that's what we're going to do today. Oops, wrong way. Starting out with my least favorite, which has to be the Anastasia and Norvina palette. I like purples. I don't like pinks. But I couldn't get these shades to really show up on my skin color. So that was kind of my beef with that. I tried using some of these lighter shades, this brown incense shade, and the glitters, Wild Child, Celestial, and they just looked really invisible and no color, no, there were just no vibrancy, no richness, no, you just couldn't see it on my eyes. So that is why I don't like this one. I feel like the color scheme would have worked. Like, I love purple palettes of any color. Purple is my favorite on the eye. I normally go neutrals, browns, like today. But if I'm gonna go with color, I do purple, and this one let me down. I think if you're lighter than me, you know, like super fair and stuff, you might actually really love this palette. But I did not love this palette. So yeah. If I were to declutter that one, that would be my first one to declutter. Next up, kind of the same reason, the Carly Bible palette with Anastasia. This one's more recent. I didn't actually use it, but the color story to me was just just dug my nail on that one. Was just uninspiring to me, and just very light and fair again. Like, this one's even more fair. It reminds me of a Lorac palette, you know. I've had a lot of issues with Lorac palettes in the past. They're just too fair, and honestly, the only deeper shade that I could probably use would be like these right here. I don't think these are made for deeper skin tones in mind, other than maybe a few highlight shades, but yeah, I was a little disappointed in the color story with this one. I still want to give it a shot and try it out, but it's just so uninspiring. Even the color story, I just didn't really, didn't even call my name. And then they're just really light colors. Next one, I've talked about this one quite a bit already. It's the Anastasia and Amrezy palette. This one, I thought I was gonna love, but I've only used it like twice, and I just feel completely uninspired when I have this palette. When I try to use it, I just don't know what to do with it other than, you know, just do a soft all matte look. The shimmers don't perform. There's a lot of glittery, chunky shades in this, and they just don't perform like Anastasia's shimmery shades, you know, which I love, but there weren't enough of those. There's only like 1, 2, 3, 4, and the rest are kind of chunkier glitters and stuff, so I really don't enjoy that of that palette. And this weird blue just doesn't go with the vibe. Just completely uninspired when I grab this palette. I just don't know what to do with it. So next one's to be fair, it's not anything against the people. I want to say against the person. I don't do color, so I don't know why I thought it would be a good idea to pick this one up. So this is the Alyssa Edwards collab with Anastasia Beverly Hills, obviously in mint condition because I have not touched it. I always just thought, like, if I ever do color, what I do like is I love the, like, look at these matte shades and look at these deeper shades. Like, these are like really good universal shades. I know you have all these like 8 very crazy colors in the middle, but these 6 shades on the end are really, really good for like everybody every day, and I do really appreciate that out of a colorful palette. They still threw in some really good usable universal neutrals in there that, you know, anyone can use. And then next, for the same reasons, just too colorful. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm never gonna use this. Why did I do this to myself? Even these seem a little more wearable, like the mustard, the estate, the yacht color, the palm. Some of these seem really, really wearable, but when they're in this kind of busy layout, it just doesn't inspire me. So I'm just really confused when I try to pull for this palette. I haven't used it. I just don't know, without using another palette, what I could do with this. So it's just sat there just because it's just uninspiring. This one, I feel like a lot of people are going to be surprised that it's not like further down or whatever on my list, is the famous, infamous Subculture palette. I actually liked this palette. There's a dog hair in there. Oh, no, it's not. It's just scratched. Okay, so I actually really like this palette. It was only for a couple of shades. I love the shade Dawn. I love the shade Roxy. Rowdy broke on me, mostly. And I feel like now I also love the shade Fudge. I feel like now I love more mustardy and green shades. So I feel like I should pull this out again. I totally forgot this had green shades in it, like this sagey color, this blue green, this even like more deep aqua shade. I feel like I need to pull this out again. I know people hate this palette. To each their own. This palette is absolutely beautiful, and I feel like completely it inspires me more now than when I bought it, because when I bought it I hated color even more than, yeah, I hated color more than I hate color now. I've opened up to color a little bit. And then this one got like absolutely no hype. I feel like since this was a release right after the Subculture palette, I mean, yeah, the formula is a little more difficult, but I feel like it's not as bad as everyone made it seem. So, but this one came out right after that one, so I feel like everyone assumed this was going to be the same formula as that one, and I don't believe that was the issue. This one was just a little powdery and kind of blended away a little bit. But this one was the original Anastasia well-known formula. And I absolutely love this. My favorite shades, again, very boring, Saturn and Eden were my favorite. A little bit of Unity, a little bit of Parallel. I think that's all I used out of that. I try to use Lucid, but it's a little too iridescent and pulls green, so more than I like. So yeah, those were the only shades I used. Sphinx was a little dark. I feel like now I'd probably use that more now, but I really haven't pulled it out. This Dimension shade just reminds me of everything. I feel like they've thrown this shade in every palette since. Just as like, even like this one, I feel like there's always like a mauvey pale shade in every Anastasia palette. So I guess the same can be said about golds. They always throw a nice gold shade in there. But I did love this palette. I don't know why no one really liked it or talked about it, but the Prism palette was one of my favorites at the time. Of course, not anymore, but it's still one of my favorites, and it fits my order that I'm selecting it in. So, from how much I actually used it and stuff. So, subculture. I was gonna say subculture. Sultry. I don't think I've used this one at all. But to be fair, I don't have anything against it. It's just I'm not really into cool tones, but I have been dipping myself into more cool tones, and I actually love all of these shimmer shades over here. So I feel like I just really need to get into this. I kind of did it. I know it doesn't make sense since I actually use this Prism palette and I don't use this one. The reason I did that way, because I feel like I'm more inclined to use this now. And if I were to declutter all my palettes between these two, I think I might still keep this one, just because I feel like even the neutral shades in this, I might lean towards more than this. But if I were to declutter any of them, I would declutter everything after this. So everything you've seen already after the Prism, so, or before the Prism. So this one I would still keep, even though I haven't used. I just need to sit down and try and use it. I feel like this Birch shade is really, really beautiful and neutral. It's not cool toned. Of course, I wouldn't use this gray or this very cool toned twig shade. But everything else in here looks absolutely gorgeous. Probably wouldn't use the Cyborg either. Anything true gray, true cool tone, I honestly probably would not use. I love Bloom. Bloom is just thrown in there because that's like literally my favorite shade from Anastasia. Like any pinky peach shade is like my favorite from them. So I know it's completely random, but it is what it is. So now, yeah, we're down to the last few now. This one, so I guess out of the collabs, no, I was going to say out of the collabs it was my favorite. It was not. It's second favorite out of the collabs. It was the Jackie Aina and Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, of course. You guys know what this looks like. This one, oops, I'm like, where is that brush? This is actually what I used today on my eyes. I think my look turned out absolutely gorgeous, flawless, you know, but I used the most neutral shades in here because that's just how boring I am, of course. This one is not higher up just because of the pinks and purples that are in here, but all the other shades I would use, these greens, this mauvey gray color, grungy, you know, these shades are what I use today. I would definitely use, I just wouldn't use this red. I don't know about that purple. I love purple, but I don't know about that purple. These pinks, I really don't like pink on my eye. I don't think it suits me very well. But every other shade in here, all the neutrals, the browns, the greens, I love. So I have to find that brush. Find it later. Okay. Oh, I see it. Anyways, and then next, no surprise to anybody, this is OG Holy Grail Modern Renaissance. I absolutely love this. This is, oh my gosh, it's like so flimsy from how much I've used it. I know it doesn't look super loved and used, but a lot of those shades do have quite the dip in them. There you go. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm surprised of how put together this still is for how much I used it. I don't know if you can tell, I don't really dirty up my palettes. I don't know how people have like the messiest palettes. I don't do that. I try to keep my palettes very, very clean, very, very organized, very visibly, aesthetically pretty, even though I use them. So even though it doesn't look like it, but I do use this, or used it. Again, pinks, no, not on me. But this was the first like neutral pink palette, you know. Kind of hoped I would get out of my comfort zone, but I didn't. But it's a really good, pretty neutral palette. With the only exception I think would be like these 5 pinky purpley shades right here. So over half the palette is still a really nice, beautiful, neutral palette. This used to be my favorite. Well, no. not really. It was a really good favorite until, of course, they released the most boring palette of all time, my favorite, the Soft Glam palette. Look at this. This is literally me. And I've also used this one a ton. Again, it doesn't look like it, but those mats are really, really dipped into. Of course, you're not going to be able to see it on this one. But I was going through burnt orange so quickly that I bought the Dominique Cosmetics Latte palette, because this is a dupe for her Cafecito shade. I don't know, there's one that's really close to this shade, and that's what I use instead now, because this used to be like favorite transition shade of all times, this burnt orange. I just absolutely loved it. It's really like, it's really almost hitting pan, like, yeah. So I had to slow down on the using this one, because I was going to use one shade up and then it would have been a disaster. So an honorable mention, this is my favorite Anastasia palette of all times, and of course, unfortunately, you cannot get it. It was limited edition. It was a really old collab, and it was the the ABH and Master palette by Mario Donovanovic. And it was this, he is the makeup artist of Kim Kardashian, and he made this really pretty 12 pan. Yeah, so it's smaller than a normal one. Yeah, this 12 pan palette with ABH, and this was also very, very loved. This was, I want to say, after the Mono Renaissance. You know, feel free to correct me in the comments, but I believe it was after the Mono Renaissance, so I knew I loved the formula. I think. And then I went ahead and I bought this, and the shade Fifth Avenue was my absolute favorite. With the matte Isabel, and this palette though, I was so scared to use it up because I knew it was limited edition, and I only did it for like special occasions, and I still have it, I still use it, I have sanitized it quite a few times now. I know it's expired. I don't care. I don't care. I use this very, very, very sparingly, and I have not had any sort of reaction, or it doesn't, the formula hasn't changed at all. It has performed the same since the first day I bought it. So that's what I kind of, how I feel about Anastasia's formula. It is very, very long lasting. Yeah, my Modern Renaissance is probably expired. I don't care. Actually, the Subculture one probably expired. Prism, all of those probably expired, but it's gonna sound pretty bad, but not until I have a reaction am I gonna throw one of those away, because they still perform really, really well. I haven't had any issues. I do, again, sanitize my palettes on occasion, especially my older ones. So I'm not too worried to do that. Of course, I do not suggest you doing that if you do not feel comfortable with it. But especially when you're messing with your eyes, you know, take it with a grain of salt. Do as I say, not as I do. So. But anyways, that is my whole Anastasia Beverly Hills collection. I absolutely love Anastasia's formula. I do feel like I need to declutter half of these. I'm just really not gonna use them, and I really need to be honest with myself and just get rid of what I'm not gonna use. So, with great pain in my heart, I need to get rid of the palettes I no longer use. I just do. As much as I don't want to, I just really need to. There's no sense in keeping, you know, I love these, so put those back. Oh, I guess I could get rid of half of my collection. This is half. This is 7 palettes. No, 6. I can't count. You know, keeping 6 and decluttering 6, that would be so great. Can I do it though? Oh my god. I don't know. I need to. I'm not using these. So Subculture, but I might actually use this one now. I don't know. I need to... Oh my god, I'll be right back. So I've made an executive decision to keep 7 palettes. So my top 7 favorites, which you guys can't see, of course, because they're backwards. You guys will be able to recognize them. I just kept them in order for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and keep these. The Mario palette, the Soft Glam, Modern Renaissance, Honest Dot, Jackie Aina, Sultry, Prism, and Subculture. And then, with so much pain in my heart, I'm going to have to get rid of the rest. Keeping 7, getting rid of 5. I thought I could do half. I can't do half. I'm going to go ahead and just declutter these, which is the Carly Bible, Norvina, Amrezy, Alyssa Edwards, and the Riviera palette. I just don't use them, and I probably won't. As much as I love the mattes in the Amrezy one, I'm not going to reach for it just for mattes. If I'm going to reach for a palette just for mattes, I'm going to use a Latte palette from Dominique Cosmetics. So just being real with myself, I'm not going to use these, so they need to go. Being real. Harsh, but breaking my heart right now. But they need to go. So they're gonna go. So I'm decluttering those and I'm gonna stop collecting Anastasia palettes. It just has to stop. Like, how did I buy 5 more palettes than I would ever use? I mean, I did use this one, and I tried to use this one, the Norvina and the Amrezy ones, but I mean, they just don't inspire me. They don't show up on my eye color or my skin color on my eyes. So they just have to go. So they're gonna go. I gotta be tough. And then I'm gonna go ahead. I feel good about keeping 7. I wanted to do, like I said, half, but I'm good with keeping 7. That's a good compromise. Getting rid of any of them is really hard for me, just because I've always collected Anastasia palettes. But that mentality needs to get out of here. So that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you guys so much for sitting down and going over these palettes with me, and you know, some tough love, because they need to go. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful for you guys, to kind of going over the color schemes and kind of hopefully inspiring you guys to also get rid of, you know, things that don't make you happy. So that's what I'm gonna do. Love you guys. Thanks for watching again. I'll see you guys in my next one.